Shonin. Nichiren Shonin says, exert yourself in the two ways of practice and study, but without practice and study, there can be no Buddhism. This is what the Gosho, the true entity of life, says. He says, not only should you persevere yourself, but you should teach others to the best of your ability, if only a single phrase or sentence. Now, in his last speech, in the Nirvana Sutra, it is Shakyamuni Buddha says, put faith in the law and not in persons. Now, those of you who are Nichiren Shoshu and SGI Buddhist and some of the Nichiren Shu, you are not following the guidance of Nichiren Shonin, because the correct teachings of Nichiren Buddhism is faith in the Lotus Sutra. Now, let's get into this thing and let's teach you something. Now, one of the things, ladies and gentlemen, that I offer, that Anthony Elmore bring to the table, I bring to the table an African and African-American cultural perspective. We are the proud Black Buddhist World Association. Now, what does that mean, being the proud Black Buddhist World Association? It means that we teach Buddhism inclusive of African and African-American culture and history. We teach a Buddhism of equality of all humankind. Now, when you study the teachings of Buddhism, when you study Gongyo, when you get an understanding of what's going on, then you begin to know and learn that the Buddhism that's being taught is not the Lotus Sutra, it is not the teachings of Nichiren, but this is what the Japanese teach. They teach you a culture. And the first thing I want you to understand is that when you learn the Gongyo prayers, or you recite the Lotus prayers in Shindoku or in Japanese, there is no inherent value to this. Please understand that Buddhism did not get to Japan until 1,000 years after the death of the Buddha Shakyamuni. It didn't get there to 1,000 years. It was just about 1,000 years when Kinuwajiva translated the Lotus Sutra into Chinese. Almost 1,000 years. So, ladies and gentlemen, Buddhism is not an Oriental religion. Buddhism is a religion that didn't start in Japan or the Orient. Buddhism started in the country of India. The country of India, or the ancient India, was not known as India. It was called Eastern Ethiopia, and the people who were there, the indigenous people who are called Dalits in India, they are the indigenous people of India. But let's get into the study of Buddhism, and let's try to correct some of the things, or correct some of the ills. So, we are going to give you an African and African-American perspective, and you need someone who can come in and teach people of African descent and all humanity the correct teachings, just like Dr. Martin Luther King and others out of the African-American community made America stand up to the tenets of the Constitution. It is going to be us who's going to make the Japanese and bring Buddhism and the true Buddhism of Shakyamuni to the contemporary and modern world. Now, there's a Gosho called the recitation of the expedient means and lifespan chapter. I think this is called, and Nichiren Shu calls it the Gosho. It says, and this is what Nichiren says in the Gosho, he says, as for the Lotus Sutra, one may recite The entire sutra of 28 chapters and 8 volumes every day, or one may recite only one volume or one chapter or one verse or one phrase or one word, or one may simply chant the Daimoku Nam Myoho Renge Kyo once a day, or chant it only once in the course of a lifetime, or hear someone else chant it only once in the lifetime and rejoice in the hearing, or rejoice in the hearing the voice of someone else, rejoice in the hearing, and so on, in this manner to the 5th hearing. So, the Lotus Sutra is the road to Buddhahood by only embracing the Lotus Sutra. And let me close with one quote from the Gosho, the recitation of expedient means and lifespan chapter. It says, not even the wisdom of the Buddha can fathom the blessings such a person will obtain. The Buddha wisdom is so marvelous that it even knows even the number of raindrops that fall in a major world system during a period, for instance, of 7 days or twice 7 days. And yet, we read that the blessings acquired by one who recites no more than a single word of the Lotus Sutra are the one thing that it cannot fathom. How then could ordinary people like ourselves, who have committed grave offenses, possibly understand these blessings? The blessings, ladies and gentlemen, come from us reading the Lotus Sutra. I challenge you to do and learn, do the Lotus Sutra in English, practice the Lotus Sutra in English, and put the Lotus Sutra first. Put faith in the law and not persons. I thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed our lecture. Thank you. Get down on my knees and I pray every day. I pray the Lotus Sutra way. I pray every day.